Hey, have you built a Plotly Dash app and it works locally and now you want to share to the world the beautiful things that you have been working on? In order to do that, you will need to deploy your app somewhere. And in this video, I will show you how you can use Microsoft Azure, deploy your app on there in 10 super easy steps, and this also 100% for free. Before starting, we need to make sure that, you need to make sure that you have three things up and running so that you can follow along. The first thing is that you need a Plotly Dash app, right? It should work locally. The second thing is that you also need to connect your code for this app to GitHub so that you have a repository that you can work with. And because we will use GitHub and this repository to deploy the app on Azure later on. And the third thing is that you also need to make sure that you have a Microsoft Azure subscription that you can log into and we can work with. So those are the three things. When you have those things, you will be able to follow along in the video. Let's start with the first step and we will just have a quick look at the app and check that it works locally. So what we have here is a very basic Dash app where we are making some charts. We are having the layout down here, a small callback function, and that's basically it. And if we are about to have a look at the app, how it looks like when we're running it. Grabbing this stuff, we're going over here and plugging it in, and you can see here that this is the app. We have one radio button, some graphs, and that's basically it. But it seems to work pretty fine here, and this is the app that we want to deploy to Azure. Second step, we need to add one thing to the code, and what we need to do, because the Dash apps are built with Flask, and this is a web framework, and when we want to deploy this, we also need to make sure that we're exposing the servers to whatever platform needs to use it. And how we will make this is by adding just one line of code here. So you saw that it worked before without this code, but we need to add this when we are deploying things to the app. And this is only this little code: server equals app.server, and that is it. What we're doing, I'm saving this now, and we also want to make sure that we are pushing the changes to our GitHub account, adding app.server line, committed, and we are syncing it so that we also have it in our repository. But we also need to make sure, I'm pretty sure that it's already looks like this for you, but I made that mistake once and therefore I'm just mentioning it. We need to make sure that all of the stuff that is included here in this app layout part, this has to be wrapped within an html.Div. And now it's time to create our requirements file. And this is the file that we're using, where we're defining all the package that we're needing for the deployment. And that will basically be the stuff that we are using up here. And we will add some extra things. But let's do it. So we will create it in the same folder where we have our app.py file. Just typing in requirements.txt, and in here we are defining the stuff that we want to have. So as you saw before, we had dash, plotly, pandas, and requests. In addition to these four packages that we already defined in our app.py file, we also need we need a package which is named gunicorn, and this is something that helps us deploy the Flask apps to the web. I will also add one more package. I'm not sure if this is actually needed, but sometime when I deployed it a while ago, I had some issues, and I'm always like just adding the Flask package in here. Normally it's included in Dash, but I'm just adding it for the sake of it. And this is our requirements file. Save this and go to your part where you are your source control part, and plug it in, commit this and sync to the web, and we are done with the fourth step. Now it's already time for us to jump into Azure, and here on the home page you will need to go to the app services, click there, and we will create a new one. For this one you can just select the normal web app part here, and we will see this this little page. So for the resource group, I will create a new one. I will just name it demo app. The app name, so this is what you will display in the URL. And I will also take my dash demo app for this one. This part, you will just keep it like this. You will have to publish it with a code. You can also use like a Docker container, but that's not what we will do right now. For the runtime stack, we will need to select Python. Select the Python version that you're using when you with your code. Down here, Linux we will use. We will go for some region that is close to you. I will pick West Europe. And here down for the pricing plans, you can actually create a new one here as well. Dash demo sp, I will select it. And for this one, you can you should, here it's important, you should select the free one, because that comes with a pretty generous amount of uptime, etc. per day. So it's perfectly fine to use this for testing around and sharing some pretty easy apps. And this is those things that you will need to have. Once you're finished here, just review and create. It will take some seconds here. We have the price is free, awesome, and click create, and it will take a little while to make the deployment. Nice, we are done with the deployment, and we can click here to go to the resource and check it out. So this is the demo app that we have been created, and we will need to make a few things before deploying the app. And the first thing to do is to jump over to configuration down here, because now we will need to use this gunicorn that we added into the requirements file, and you will need to go to the startup command, and here you will need to plug in this gunicorn, and you have some other variables as well, and here we are also specifying this app.server that we also added as a line in the code before. And this is all the things that you need to add here. Just save this. Now it's time to deploy the app, and to do that, you're jumping over here to the deployment center. And in the deployment center, you will need to select your source here. As I mentioned before, we will need to make sure that we have it connected to GitHub. I mean, of course, you can choose some other version control, but I'm using GitHub here, and therefore I mentioned it here. Down here, you're selecting organization. In this dropdown, you will see a list of all your repos, and I will select my _demo, that was the app, and I only have one branch, and therefore it's pretty easy. Down here, just keep it as is, the user assigned identity, subscription, and identity. You can also just leave it as is, it will create a new for you. Once done, we are hitting save, and once all the settings are done, you can jump over to the logs page and you will see that we have already initially triggered the first deployment of the app. And this is like the first step. And it will take a little while to build. Of course, it depends a little bit on the complexity on your app. Now you can see here that we are finished with the deployment. It says success, which is awesome. And now let's check it out if this was really a success. And by doing that, we will jump over to the overview. And up here, you will see your domain, my-demo app, and then, you know, these weird letters. Click here and we will see if the app will work. And the first time it will take a little while to just spin up the things, but eventually it will hopefully work. Perfect. So what we have, as you can see, we have our app here up and running on this URL. We can flip it here as also before, you know, see two different charts. And that's basically it. So awesome, well done. You have your app deployed to the web and everyone can see it. One thing that is super convenient when we have made this deployment with the GitHub is that we will, once things are changed on GitHub, we will also trigger these changes automatically in Azure. So let's say that we just want to make some change here. I will just, in this title of the PX bar, I will just, this is change. I will just type something. I will save this one. And now let's push this one, new title. Oops. I think I did something weird. So now a new title, sync the changes. And once this is done, you will see when we are jumping over here to this app, is that this, when I'm clicking here, refresh here, you will see that we have like a new build starting automatically. So whenever you're making changes to your app, this will also be deployed automatically. So once this is finished, you will also see the changes being live on your app, which is a pretty nice thing to have. So we managed to deploy our Plotly app to the web by using Azure, and that's totally for free. Amazing. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, leave a like if you like the video, and also subscribe if you want to see more data videos from me. Take care.